Imagine if your morning coffee was also your salary. If the thing you drink for pleasure was the same thing you used to buy a house. Sounds crazy, right? But that's exactly what the Maya did with chocolate. They didn't just eat it. They used it as money, actual currency. You could buy slaves with chocolate, pay taxes with chocolate, bribe officials with chocolate. And here's the part that will blow your mind. Their chocolate-based economy was more sophisticated than most modern currencies. They had exchange rates, inflation control, counterfeiting problems, and banking systems, all built around a bean. But there's something darker here, something nobody talks about. Because the Maya didn't just use chocolate as money. They weaponized it, controlled it, used it to build empires and crush enemies. This is the story of how a drink became a currency, how currency became power, and how an entire civilization rose and fell based on control of a single crop. Stay with me, because what the Maya discovered about money 3,000 years ago is more relevant today than you think. The year is 1500 BC. Deep in the jungles of Central America, someone makes a discovery that will change history. They find a tree with strange pods. Inside are bitter beans. They're not edible raw. They're not particularly special. But someone decides to roast them, grind them, and mix them with water. The result, a bitter, frothy drink that makes you feel incredible. This is chocolate. But not the chocolate you know. This is pure cacao, mixed with chili peppers and spices. It's bitter, intense, and slightly psychoactive. The Mayans call it zocolatl bitter water. And they immediately realize something. This stuff is valuable. But here's where it gets interesting. Most civilizations would just enjoy it as a luxury drink. The Maya do something completely different. They turn it into money. Why? Because cacao beans have properties that make them perfect currency. First, they're countable. Each bean is roughly the same size. You can count out exact amounts. 10 beans, 100 beans, 1,000 beans. Second, they're portable. Unlike gold or silver, which are heavy, you can carry thousands of cacao beans in a bag. Easy to transport, easy to trade. Third, they're divisible. Need to make change. Break a bean in half. Need smaller denominations. Use smaller beans. Fourth, and most importantly, they're consumable. This creates natural deflation. People drink the currency. The money supply constantly decreases unless you grow more. Think about how genius this is. With gold, the supply just keeps increasing. More mining means more gold, which means inflation. But with cacao, consumption balances production. People destroy the currency by using it. By 500 BC, the Maya have established exact exchange rates. Spanish conquistadors later record the prices. 1 small rabbit, 10 cacao beans, 1 turkey egg, 3 cacao beans, 1 large tomato, 1 cacao bean, 1 turkey, 100 cacao beans, 1 slave, 100 cacao beans, 1 night with a prostitute, 8 to 10 cacao beans. Everything has a price in cacao. But here's where the Maya show their economic sophistication. They don't just use any cacao bean. They grade them by quality. The best beans, from the Soconusco region, are worth more. Lower quality beans from other areas are worth less. There is a currency hierarchy, like having dollars, quarters, and pennies, but all from the same plant. And the Maya elite do something brilliant. They control the supply. Cacao trees only grow in specific conditions. Hot, humid, shaded areas at specific altitudes. You can't grow them just anywhere. This creates natural scarcity, but the Maya don't leave it to nature. They monopolize cacao production. The best growing regions are controlled by powerful city-states. They tax cacao production. They regulate trade routes. They ensure only certain people can grow quality cacao. This is monetary policy, central banking, economic control, all happening 2,500 years ago in the jungle. But it gets darker. Because control of cacao means control of everything. Here's what nobody tells you about the Maya. Their entire economy ran on chocolate slavery. Let me explain. Cacao is incredibly labor-intensive. The trees need constant care. They must be grown in the shade, under larger trees. Each tree takes 5 years to produce. The pods must be harvested by hand, fermented for days, dried in the sun, then transported to markets. This takes thousands of workers, and the Maya elite have a solution: slaves. But here's the twisted part. Slaves are purchased with cacao beans, the same currency they're forced to produce. Think about this economic system. You buy a slave for 100 cacao beans. That slave works cacao plantations, producing thousands of beans per year. You've essentially bought a money printing machine. The math is brutal. A slave costs 100 beans, but produces 1,000 beans per year in labor. In 2 months, you've recouped your investment. Everything after that is pure profit. This creates a self-reinforcing cycle. Wealthy Maya use cacao to buy slaves. Slaves produce more cacao. More cacao buys more slaves. Wealth concentrates exponentially. But the system has a problem. Counterfeiting. By 800 AD, people have figured out how to cheat. They take cacao shells, empty them, fill them with dirt or sand, and carefully reseal them. Fake beans look identical to real ones until you open them. The Maya respond with the world's first counterfeit detection laws. Merchants who accept fake beans can demand replacement. People caught counterfeiting face execution, but enforcement is inconsistent. Fake beans flood the market. Trust in currency erodes. The Maya try another solution. They create different denominations using different products. Jade beads for large transactions. Copper bells for medium. Cacao for small daily purchases. This is a multi-commodity monetary system, like having gold, silver, and copper coins, but with stones, metals, and beans. And here's where Maya economic policy gets truly sophisticated. They implement tribute systems that function exactly like taxation. Conquered cities must pay tribute to their rulers, but not in goods, in cacao beans. Exact amounts, delivered on schedule, recorded in books. The largest Maya cities receive tribute of 980,000 cacao beans annually. That's nearly 1 million beans flowing into the capital every year, just from conquered territories. This is tax collection, government revenue, state financing, all based on chocolate. But the Maya face a crisis. The same crisis that destroys every commodity-based currency, eventually. Supply manipulation. Around 900 AD, something catastrophic happens. The archaeological record shows massive cacao production collapse. Was it drought? Disease? Overpaying? Nobody knows for sure, but the effect is clear. Hyperinflation. When cacao becomes scarce, prices explode. What cost 10 beans now costs 100. Workers can't afford food. Trade breaks down. Cities that depended on cacao, currency collapse. The Maya learned what every civilization learns eventually. Commodity money is vulnerable. When supply crashes, the entire economy crashes with it. But before the collapse, the Maya create something unprecedented. Something that won't be reinvented in Europe for another 500 years. They create banking. Here's a secret. The Maya had banks, not buildings with vaults. Something more sophisticated. They had trusted merchants who would hold your cacao and give you a receipt. You could then trade the receipt instead of carrying beans. This is paper money, currency backed by commodity reserves. Exactly like the gold standard, except with chocolate. Why did this develop? Security. Carrying large amounts of cacao is dangerous. You're walking around with literal money that everyone wants. Robbery is common. Loss is common. So wealthy merchants develop a solution. Deposit your cacao with a trusted trader. He gives you a marked piece of bark paper or cotton cloth stating the amount. You trade the receipt. When needed, you redeem it for actual beans. The receipt itself becomes currency. This is revolutionary. The Maya have separated the unit of account from the physical commodity. You're no longer trading the beans themselves, but the promise of beans. And here's where it gets wild. These merchants don't keep all the beans in storage. If you deposit 1,000 beans, the merchant knows you probably won't withdraw them all at once. So he lends out 700 beans to someone else, keeping only 300 in reserve. This is fractional reserve banking. The merchant has created 700 beans of new money out of thin air. There are now 1,700 beans in the system, but only 1,000 actual beans exist. As long as depositors don't all demand their beans simultaneously, the system works. The merchant earns interest on the loans. Borrowers get capital. Depositors can trade their receipts. But if everyone tries to withdraw at once, bank run, system collapse, and the Maya experience this. Spanish records describe panics where everyone rushes to redeem receipts simultaneously. The merchants can't pay. They flee or are killed. Depositors lose everything. The Maya are experiencing 15th century bank runs. The same crisis that will plague Europe for centuries. The same crisis that causes the 2008 financial meltdown, because the fundamental problem is always the same. Fractional reserve banking creates systemic risk. But the Maya banking system reveals something else. The importance of trust. Why do people accept paper receipts as payment? Because they trust the merchant will honor them. That trust is based on reputation, family connections, and community enforcement. If a merchant cheats you, everyone knows. His reputation is destroyed. No one will trade with him. His family is shamed. Community justice is swift. This social enforcement makes the banking system work. Trust, backed by social consequences, enables paper currency. But Spanish conquest destroys this system completely. And they do it using the Maya's own monetary weapon against them. Hernan Cortes arrives in Mexico. He's heard rumors of cities filled with gold. But what he finds is more interesting. An economy that runs on chocolate. The Spanish are confused. Why would anyone use beans as money? But they're practical. If the locals accept cacao as currency, they'll use cacao as currency. And they immediately understand something the Maya nobility have known for centuries. Whoever controls the cacao supply controls everything. The Spanish do something brilliant and ruthless. They seize the cacao growing regions. They implement forced labor. They monopolize production. But here's where Spanish strategy gets diabolical. They don't just control supply, they manipulate demand. Remember, cacao is both currency and consumable. The Spanish start drinking massive amounts of it. They export it to Europe, where it becomes an instant luxury sensation. They create artificial demand that drives prices through the roof. Cacao, that once cost 10 beans, now costs 100. The Maya can't afford their own currency. This is economic warfare. The Spanish have weaponized inflation. But they make one critical change. They add sugar. The Maya drank xocolate bitter. The Spanish add cane sugar, making it sweet. This transforms chocolate from an elite drink to something everyone wants. Demand explodes. Cacao prices skyrocket. The Spanish get rich while the Maya get poor using their own currency. Think about the genius of this strategy. The Spanish didn't need to ban cacao currency. They just made it too expensive for locals to use. By 1545, the cacao-based economy is collapsing. The Spanish introduced silver coins. They pay workers in silver instead of cacao. They demand tribute in silver. Within 50 years, cacao transitions from currency to commodity. It's no longer money. It's just a product the Spanish export for profit. The Maya's 3,000-year-old monetary system is destroyed. Not by war alone, but by economic manipulation. And here's the final twist. The Spanish make a fortune by selling the Maya's own currency back to Europe as a luxury product. They take something that was money, turn it into a consumer good, and get rich from the markup. They've commoditized currency itself. This is what happens when you lose control of your own money supply. Pull out your wallet. Look at your money. What backs it? Nothing. Not gold, not silver, not anything tangible. Just government decree and collective belief. This is fiat currency. Its value exists because we agree it exists. The Maya understood this 3,000 years ago. Cacao beans have no intrinsic value. You can't build houses with them. You can't make tools. You can drink them, but that's optional. Their value is social agreement. Everyone agrees they're worth something, so they're worth something. But here's what the Maya discovered that we're still learning. Social agreement is fragile. When supply collapses, agreement breaks. When counterfeiting spreads, agreement breaks. When conquerors manipulate supply, agreement breaks. The Maya built an entire civilization on chocolate money. For 2,500 years, it worked. They had functioning currency, exchange rates, banking, taxation, everything. But the system had fatal flaws. Commodity money is vulnerable to supply shocks. Consumable currency has deflation issues. Organic money can be counterfeited. Agricultural currency depends on harvest success. These aren't just Maya problems. These are fundamental monetary problems. Gold has supply shocks when new mines are discovered. Fiat currency has inflation when governments print too much. Digital currency has volatility when speculation dominates. Every form of money has weaknesses. But the Maya chocolate economy teaches us something profound. Money is social technology. It doesn't matter what you use. Beans, metals, paper, digital codes. What matters is social agreement and trust. The Maya created trust through scarcity, standardization, and social enforcement. When any of those failed, the currency failed. Modern economies create trust through legal systems, central banks, and financial regulation. When those fail, currency fails. The mechanics are different. The principles are identical. And here's the darkest lesson. Monetary systems create power hierarchies. Whoever controls money, supply controls society. The Maya elite controlled cacao production and became nobility. The Spanish controlled cacao and conquered an empire. Today, central banks control currency supply. Tech companies control payment systems. Governments control legal tender laws. Different mechanisms, same power structure. The Maya's chocolate money seems primitive, but they understood what many people today don't. Money is control. Control of money is control of everything. So here's what the Maya really teach us. Money can be anything. Beans, metals, paper, digital codes. Doesn't matter. What matters is social agreement, trust, and control. For 3,000 years, the Maya used chocolate as currency. They built cities, conducted trade, paid workers, collected taxes, and created banking systems, all based on a bean. They proved that money isn't about intrinsic value, it's about collective belief. But they also proved that monetary systems create power. Whoever controls money supply controls society. The Maya nobility controlled cacao and ruled for millennia. The Spanish controlled cacao and destroyed them. Today, we think we're more sophisticated. We have digital currencies, complex financial instruments, global markets. But we're facing the same problems. Inflation when supply increases, deflation when supply contracts, counterfeiting in new forms, bank runs in digital versions, supply manipulation by powerful entities. The mechanisms have changed. The principles haven't. Every time you buy something, you're participating in collective agreement. You're trusting that the currency holds value. You're accepting that certain entities control the money supply. The Maya did this with chocolate. We do it with paper and digital codes. Different forms, same system, same vulnerabilities. The question isn't what we use as money. The question is who controls it. Because the Maya learned the hard way. Lose control of your currency, lose control of everything. Their chocolate economy survived 3,000 years. But when someone else controlled the supply, it collapsed in 50. That's not ancient history. That's a warning. What do you think? Is modern money really different from chocolate beans? Drop your thoughts in comments, because the Maya understood something we keep forgetting. Money is power, and power always concentrates in the hands of those who control the supply. 3,000 years later, we're still living in a chocolate economy. We just call it something else.